So what we're working on today is AliChat, and we're going to continue to scaffold out our front end. Let me show you where we left off. Yesterday, you guys had some pretty good suggestions on making sure that the MVC here, that all the different projects were starting at one time. And so we had our MVC, our web API, and then also our, well, where did it go? Identity server, right? So we want the web API to be the startup project, but also when we come in and look at properties on this, sure, that's fine. And now you can see that we can say multiple startup projects here. And we can say that the startup projects that we want are web API resource, MVC, and identity server. And that makes it a lot easier to launch this. All right. I would stay with Windows 10. I thought about that for a while, going over to a Linux stack, and a guy who I'm really good friends with, who has taught me a lot of stuff through the years. He was telling me that if you think about time and return on investment, if you want to turn around and sell and sell, you really want to choose the language and the not the language, but the tools that are the most comfortable for you, so that way you can push things out. So since I'm much more familiar with Windows, it only made more sense that I would continue with Windows. So did this only launch the one project? Or am I just clicking around too much? Here, the other one. And this one has a, okay, perfect. So now when we look at the MVC, okay, now we can look over and we see that we have our bot set up. Okay, provider name, username, this is using DataGrid. I can go ahead and delete one. Delete's working. We can create one. It's going to reroute me over to Twitch. And then it's going to kick me through. So what we really want this to do before this kicks me and registers me to Twitch is it needs to have a modal form that asks me which provider I want. So let's do that. Here in the MVC, inside of bots, we want to have something here called a modal provider select. And this one is a partial view, and we don't have a template at this time. Maker Blaker says, most web program is just distro neutral. I suggest learning Linux if you don't already. I've tried Linux when I was in university, but I much lost time for managing things instead of working on important things. That's how I felt about Linux. It would be really cool once I got it, and if I ever wrote it down and remembered how to use it for later. But with Linux itself, it was a little bit like tracing breadcrumbs for me, and was just taking a lot more time. But that's everything when you're learning it. So it's good to also listen and understand when Linux technical experts are around, so that they can explain some of the benefits that they have of using a system that's as open as that. Yeah, Maker Blaker, that's the advice that I've been given as well. Stick with what you're comfortable with. Okay, so here in this widget, we need to have this modal, okay? And this modal is just going to have a list of providers. So we need to have here a new model called providers, provider select. And the only thing that this has is a, let's see, the easiest thing would be to get a list of these providers. So this thing would have a provider view model. Like that. Okay. Right there. So we want to make sure that we have the anti-forgery token. Hey there, Mike. How you doing this morning? Good to see you. Maker Blaker, yep, I think the same. It's better to use known tools to be maximum productive. So I try to do both. I try to use known tools when it's a billable client, and I try to use my own new tools as much as I can when it's my own project, so that I can use those new tools for billable clients. Keeps me present too. Oh yeah, buddy, I hear that, Mike. So in this, we don't have a username. The only thing we have here is a provider, and we need a drop-down list for. You should also have a select here. So it's a I collection of something called a provider view model. And this isn't necessarily correct. So let's go ahead and pull up our reference window. We're going to do ASP.NET MVC, and we want to look for a drop-down for. So we do need this something called the select list item, and it's an IEnumerable, like that. Like that. So now we IEnumerable. Okay. And so this would be a providers, right? So the ID and then also the items. Like that, right? Mike, how's the sound? I'm on the new mic. I don't have a mixer hooked up to it at the moment. That's so interesting that it's telling me that I can't. I mean, we'll give it a test and see what happens here. Is this a drop-down list for or just drop-down list? No, it's a for. Okay, so let's go ahead and make sure that our modal is actually going to fire. So over here in my details, no, it was in my index. You have something called create. And when this happens, instead of doing this on click event, you want to do Ajax. So we'll just cut this out. Okay. Oh, I'll be right back. Hold on. Stuffy morning. Okay. And so here, now, instead of doing this, you want to have a class in here, right? And we're going to call this a provider select modal. So then back here in index, just so we don't lose that. Now what I want to do is I want to, this is all for the, okay, so if I look back at one that has a modal on it, This is my Ajax call. So we could actually grab all this. So this goes right here. We want to move this little code here, these comments, to be below where the data tables actually are. And then here, the class is this one. Like that. Is the clicking sound better? Is the air conditioner sound better? Okay. There's no grid in this one, right? It's much better. Sweet. Yeah, I thought that cardioid mic was picking up a bunch of stuff. And we can dump these tables there. We need this to be in document ready. And this is going to be create, provider, select, submit. And then finally this one. This is called a provider select modal. So up here, wait, where was I? Okay, so I put this in the wrong place, so we'll just copy this and then we'll go back. Like that. And then we'll dump this in right here. Just a second. Isn't it here? You want this in details. Because you're looking at one, no, it's not in a bot. It's in a stream details. This one. Okay, this is the one I want. So I'm going to move this over for a second. I want to grab the code that I needed, which was out of index here. And I want this modal. And then I also want the JS down here, which is this and this. Okay. And so now this is called Ali Chat. This one's in streams, where this is our details. We have something in details called, is it in details or should it be in edit? I mean, I don't like having an edit form, but that's probably where it should go. So let me just go ahead and chunk this. So there's the modal. Here's the code. There we go. No, why is it? Oh. So there's fine. And this is going to be called a provider select modal. And this is going to be, the modal title is going to be create, add provider. Well, is it a provider that you're adding? Hold on. What it actually is a routed. So this should say add bot, right? Like that. Add bot. Model bot add. Stream bot add. Looks like you already have this thing set up here, right there. And that just needs that name and a description. Which goes here in edit. Create stream bot. Looks like I already did this. Stream bot add. Okay. Modal stream bot add modal. Stream create modal. That looks good. And let's come look at this over here. Change that bootstrap element there. And then here you're going to do this stream create modal, which is going to close, should create the stream bot Ajax. It's going to send out my and then we need this create stream bot here. Stream bot name, stream bot description. Like that. So let's make sure that we have stream bot name here. I'm sorry, create stream bot inside of streams, which is in here. Create stream bot, right? And it's not going to be this modal, it's going to be a stream bot add modal. And so now what you need to do is a var response equals await client services dot. And now what you need is you need a endpoint so that you can do like a update. So you also need in here, you need to have a, and this is going to be your ID, right? And then you're also going to need to have a A name and a description? Let me look. But if you look at StreamBot add, you're just going to have this username. So this thing is going to be a, and now this is going to be a bot ID, right? Bot selected ID. And then also you're going to need this I enumerable of your select list item called your bots. And then you also need to tell it which one is the ID. So this is going to be a bot ID selected. And then this one was a modal.bots. Better. We'll just try that. I want to. And then we need to have this hidden field in here too. And we want to hide ID. So now when this thing submits, we're going to get our ID selected. We already should get the ID here. When you look back here at edit, when you're calling this, this is currently calling this new stream create modal. But it's not, it's a stream bot add modal, and in that and now you're going to do your ID is equal to your hold on. So up here, you want to create a new model, and you're going to call this a stream bot add modal, just a stream. Let's move this over here. And up here we want to create this. And we want to select all of this stuff. And then also we want to have a stream bot add modal. So now we can change this over to be a modal. Like that, which means that now we can pass like that, right? Stream bot add modal. Perfect. So let's try it. And now when we hit this, we should be Oh my God. And the one that you want to call is called StreamBots add StreamBot create modal bot add modal. So this is a StreamBot add modal. StreamBot add. So these two are both in the StreamBot add. We can get rid of this. And now StreamBot create modal close. And then the add where's your submit? It's called StreamBot create modal.close. So where is your actual button? Looks like you don't have an ad. Well, let's take a look. We forgot to get the stream here, which is called view model. If my response dot response code like that. So here, if my GUID.tryparse of my viewModel.id is a out GUID, then what I want to do is check this response. And it's going to be a is equal to an integer of my HTTP status code.OK. Like that. This one is my stream response. So then we want to do a response stream dot routes dot add, and this one was a routed child view model. If I look down here at my models, routed child view model, you see that this thing is abstract because you have a route Interesting. And now your bot here, so you need to get your bot here. Response bot. So up here, you also want to do this again, because you want to check to see and, like that, and you want to check to see this time if it's your bot ID selected, and this one is called your bot GUID bot ID, and this one would be a GUID stream ID, right? And then the resource. Like that. And my response bot.response code is equal to the integer over here. Like that. Well, instead of getting the response, no, that's what you want. What's wrong here? Oh, this. And this is going to be a bot.channels.count. And then finally we have a user here, which is going to be equal to isn't that part of the bot? Yeah. Okay. And then the next one that we needed to add was channels. Well, there currently isn't any. So if you look at bot child, your channels should here, channels. Channels, so it has a new, so you don't need to worry about channels. Route type is going to be equal to route type.routed. And stream is going to be equal to response stream. I wish I put auto mapper on here, but I don't think it would matter. Response stream dot stream. That's coming in as a view model. Hey there, Randui, Randul. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate that. If you have any questions, please put them into the channel. Also, all of these videos are available up on YouTube from the first one to where we are now. That's the link. If you could give me a follow over there, we're just a few follows away from getting that custom URL. So, okay, stream here. My name is going to be equal to my response stream. routes.stream.name, and then also my description, or I guess it's a URL here. Where is it? I wanted to find. Like that. This needs to be URL, right? And then ID is equal to my response stream dot stream dot ID dot toString. So here, if my response stream dot stream dot routes dot any, so if there's any route in there, where am I? We need to add in system link here. And we want to say that if there is any this is a route child view model. So you want to do of type routed view model, right? Where the bot dot ID is equal to my response bot dot ID. So if there is already one in there, so if that is not the case, then you want to add this in. So here you can say it's my response stream. So no, it's a await client services. You have an update stream and you want to pass in my stream update request. Oh, interesting. This needs a stream view model. And this is called a response stream, right? And so now when we check to see if my response stream dot response code is equal to an integer of my HTTP status code dot OK, then you want to say that this, in fact, the record was created successfully. And this one here would go to my view model dot ID. That's a little ugly. Hey there, Live EDU. How are you guys doing today? So let's go ahead and check this now. Like that. Oops, oops, oops. Like that, and then this needs to be request.stream.id. Let's give that a run, see what happens here. Then we're going to run it. How are you guys doing out there? If you have any questions, please put them into the channel. We have a really active and supportive community. Make sure you check us out at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Also, all the legacy videos are available up on YouTube, from the first one to where we currently are with no music. So make sure you check those out. We got no errors, so let's run it. Okay, all three loaded. Let's bring our MVC over. Good man, just enjoying. I gotta fill up my coffee while this loads. Moment. Hey there, Killer for Gaming. I'm pretty sure that's who that was. I just saw a follow there. Appreciate that, buddy. If you have any questions, again, pop them into the channel. All right, let's take a look. So we're going to take a look here at our bots, make sure that nothing's broken. Let's delete this guy. That worked. So you broke this modal. I thought you were going to, because you were making too many modifications. So over here on index for bots, actually it's on details. Hold on. No, it's just right on index. Interesting, it passed over an ID for index. Oh yeah, that's right. This is the data table. This here is the create provider select modal. Oh yeah, you did totally mess this one up. This one's called a bot select modal, right? And so that means that in my index down here, we should be able to select this. Right there. Bot create modal, which goes here. And this one was called A. You have something here called a Modal bot create. So we need to create that up here. So let's add that class. Sorry, it's a view. Up here you had something called provider selected. Let's move this down here too. A new bot in here called, or a new class in here. Didn't I just add this? Bot add modal. And we need to paste this stuff in. So we have a provider selected, which is actually just a string, right? Provider ID selected. We're going to have this list items of providers, and then also we need to have the ID. So down here we have a modal, and then this is going to be phs.mvc.areas.alleychat modals, and then this one. So you're going to pass in this anti-forgery token. You're going to hide this ID, and then you need a drop-down list for your provider ID selected, and then providers, right? And now this is a bot create modal close. So back here under index, bot create modal. Bot add. Bot create modal, right? Create bot Ajax. Because after this, you do want to do a create with a post, and you're just going to pass in your provider ID. It's going to be a, hey there, ESL Spectrium. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate it. If you have any questions, please put them into the channel. Also, all the legacy videos are up on our YouTube, from the first one to where we currently are. So make sure you check over there and give us a follow. I think we're 10 follows away from getting that custom URL. So make sure you check that out. Here, this is going to be a, in your model, like that. Just that one. We have this hidden ID. Because when you look at here, that should probably work. Oh, you also want to send over the ID. And then we need to add in this. That should work. Let's try it again. Oh, but you forgot to add it in the controller, right? You have a get here, you have a post. Oh, your get is here. So you actually need to have a post here. And then also it's passing in, if you look back at the view, a bot add modal. So now if my GUID.tryParse of my viewModal.id is a GUID, I'm sorry, it's a out GUID GUID. Then what you want to do is you want to get your provider. And the one you want to get is your GUID from your resource server. And this is a async task, right? So now if my response.response code is equal to an integer of my HTTP status code.ok, then what you want to do is you want to switch on my response.provider.name, and this one here is going to be a case twitch, like that, and we'll just do this. And this is going to be a viewModal.message. It's going to be provider could not be located. And then you want to do a return a redirect to action of my details of my, sorry, it's an index of my bots inside of my alley chat area. And then your idea is like that. Hey there, Wobbly Trout. Thanks for that host with 18 viewers. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. How are you doing? In case you guys don't know me, my name's Rob. I'm streaming now during the week and also during the weekend. We're starting about 5:30 in the morning, running till about 8 to 8:30 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. And then also on the weekends a little bit. What we're working on right now is our ASP.NET MVC application. We have a web API, which is supporting that for the back end. And additionally, we have a Windows service that we've created that parses through different RSS platforms and routes different messages accordingly. Hey there, says Wobbly Trout. We have a smelly raid. Fishy raid. We smell a fishy raid. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that host. So now if we come over here and we look at bots, we make sure that I can auth in one. This thing says that this wants a bot add modal, but it's passing in a stream create modal. So that's here in my index. Hey there, Wobbly. I wonder, it takes a minute sometimes for them to kick over. I think they hit a commercial sometimes. This is called, by the way, create bot Ajax. And this I should be passing in my modal dot, sorry, model dot. So you need to have something over here called a bot. And a bot is going to have a we'll say bot index. And we know that a bot index is going to have a prop here of my, sorry. It's going to be a bot, a bot view model, right? And then it's also going to be a, it's going to be a list of these, right? And I can check that here in my bots index to just make sure bot child view model is what this one wants. And then also it's got a bot add modal. So here now I should be able to add in a modal dot bot add model. And now this thing should just be this one. PHS MVC ali areas dot ali chat dot models dot bot index. Not here. This one goes to model dot bots. And this one goes to bot create modal, like that. Let's give that a try. I think I have to run it. Okay, here's the MVC. Why are you using a combination of MVC and model view model? Well, so I have a web API that's sitting on the back end. So I have a domain level entity model, right? And that contains interactions between all of my different entities. And then from that, I have a data access layer services layer, which is attached to a web API, which returns view models. But then in MVC, what I need to do is that I have certain partials that I am loading, and in those I have hard type models which I can apply to them. And because that's one of the real big benefits of the partials, is that I can reload a partial without reloading the page. And then that requires a specific model for that. So this is telling me that this doesn't have bot add model. It just has bot add. So it says now in my index, this thing needs to get the other model, right? phs.mvc.areas.alleychat.models. Okay, makes sense. Thanks, man. If you have any more questions, please put them in the channel. Also, our Discord is a really great resource. And this one is going to be a bot add, bot index, bot index. And then you're iterating through bots. It's just the model. Still, bot child view model. You're saying that this is bot add modal. Are you iterating through when you're doing this or something? You're not in a loop. Just trying to find it. It's still unhappy. It says that this is passing in a model, which is this bot index and widget index. But this is saying bot index. Bot child, bot add modal. So this isn't updating. Let's try it again. Maybe we have to rerun it when we make those modifications, because it seems a little funny there. Take a quick peek here at bots. So is it coming from the controller then? It's got to be coming from the controller. Bot child view model. This needs to be a new bot. So bots here is a response.bots, and then the bot add is going to be equal to a new bot add modal, which has a providers, which is going to be an await client services alleychat.providers async. This is a bot's response, right? And provider's response. Dot response code is equal to my integer of my HTTP status code. Dot OK. Then what you want to do is you want to return this. Bots here is a cannot convert a collection of bot child view model to list bot child view model. Provider child to select list item. Oh, so what you have to do is you have to var list items equals a new list of my select list item. Because what you need to do is a provider's response dot providers dot for each. Nope. You should do a toList dot for each s where my, and then you want to break this down. And now what you want to do is you want to do list items dot add, and it's going to be a new one of these things, and you need to pass in two pieces, which is your text and your value. Your text is going to be equal to your s dot name, and your value is going to be equal to your s dot id. Dot toString. Provider list items. Like that. Let's give that a whirl. Just a second as it loads. There is no view data item of select this has the key provider ID selected. So over here in index, widget, or is it in the controllers? It's in the widget, I mean the modal, right? So we're going to change that to be provider ID. Let's try that again. Might need to look that one up. It says that it most likely is corrected because of the naming convention. Where did that little thing go? Let's try that. I love when you don't have to recompile. Just a moment, please. All right, sorry about that. Hey, SPCIO, how are you doing today? SPC, sorry. It looks for IEnumerable and view bag. Oh, it wants to do it in view bag? So it wants to load it into the view bag is what it wants. Hey there, S Brown 9165. How are you doing today? Welcome to the channel. Thanks for coming and checking this out. So instead of doing it this way, if we loaded this into the view bag, so here, viewbag.providers, like that. Let's just try that now. This is saying because this is null. Because you're dumb. You are dumb. You're dumb. Back over here in the controller. Let's try that again. Because you are adding it here. It shouldn't be null when it comes in. Let's try it again. How are you guys doing today? If you have any questions, please put them into the channel. We have a really active and supportive community, and all of these videos are available up on YouTube from the first one to where we currently are. Please go ahead and give me a follow. That's the link there. There's no music with them so that we can actually listen to them and watch them after the fact. Oh, sorry. I have a breakpoint set here. So providers has 1. Okay, so that worked, but it's giving me an error now because I have an unexpected token after my... Interesting. So down here in my JS now. I don't understand what this is unhappy with me about. Oh, it's because down here, this all needs to sit within document function. Which goes here. So that's wrong. I think that fixed it. Hey there, Pika Fighter. How's the mic sound? This is the new shotgun mic. I'm going to drop here for half an hour before I start streaming. So how's it going? It's going okay. Just working on the front end stuff. Which code editor are you using? Asks iRivenMid. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. And what's your application about? I'm using Visual Studio 2017. And this application has an ASP.NET MVC front end, as well as a Web API backend and a Windows service that's running that parses multiple RSS feeds and then routes messages accordingly. It's set up as a backend as a service model, so if you're a developer, you can use it to connect your different RSS feeds from social medias and have them all come from one place. That's a problem. Let's try that. The sound is about the same, but it's nice not to have the mic in the cam. Also, is the typing should be less, and I should be able to run the air conditioner too now. Looks like it's just looking for one more thing now. Oops. You have to close the tag. Typing should be less. I've not focused that hard on it. There, now it's working. So it does fire my modal and it will allow me to select, and then it fires and it says that val is not a function. So where is that failing now? So if I get rid of this, and then we're going to make sure that we get our redirect set up here. All right. So that means that for providers, it wants me to do that, which means that here on index, I should be able to get rid of this and go back to doing a phs.alleychat.lib.viewModels.bot child view model. And remember, this is an I enumerable of it. Hey there, Dole Shark Attack 88. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you have any questions, please put them in. We got a really active and supportive community. Happy to have you as part of it. Modal bot create here. I guess you don't need that at all, right? Which means just like that. And now if you look up at which is the ones that you are rendering here, hidden for model.id. Ah, crap. You should just be able to do hidden here. No, let's do a... Let's do this as an @modal, and we're going to do this as another bot. When you look back here at your controller at index, provider list index, you don't need this. Like that, right? But it's not, because you also need to have a user ID here, right? So if you look back here at get bots, you should have something that requires a user ID, account ID, and a user ID. So let's add a new one in here called public async task of my let's do this with a string account ID. We'll do this as a GUID, call it account ID, right? Like that. Hey there, full gig developer. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate that. If you have any questions, please put them into the channel. Got a really active and supportive community. Also, make sure you check out the YouTube, which is where we have all of these videos from the first one to where we currently are. And there's no music, so that we can always check that out. So thanks very much. So here, GetBots has a account ID, which means that GetBots here has a so that means that over here now in my we could do this as a nullable value. So now if my account ID is equal to null, then you're going to do something else. Otherwise, you're going to do this one. Okay, which means that now over here on the web API, we need to change in my bots. When you're doing get bots here, you're going to have a string account ID. If my string.account ID is null or white space of my account ID, and GUID.tryParse of my account ID out GUID. Else if string dot is null or white space of my account ID, then you're going to do this one. Get async s where my s dot account ID is equal to account ID. Oops. Okay, so now you have to check this one to make sure that you have get bots async here. Like that. And then I guess you also want to have on here a account view model, account child view model, right? And you're going to do your GUID here. So if that does not equal to null, then what you want to do is that one again. like that. That's an account child view model. This is a get account view model. We're going to add this new account child view model here, and we'll just fill it. There's only a couple of properties, so it's easy to just do like this. Okay, so we want to check that now. And so now this is returning responses, not views here. So you need to get your username here. So you're going to have a var user ID equals my user.identity.get user ID. And now what you want to do is you want to get your account response equal to your await client services chat.get account, and we're going to be passing in my ID, which is my user ID, and then also my resource. So if my account response code is equal to integer of my HTTP status code .OK, then we're going to do all this stuff. Beautiful. So there's no more bot index on this widget index. Instead, what it was is an I enumerable of my well, that's not necessarily true because you do have this modal, and the modal is going to need the ID. This should be okay. So you should be able just to do this. Let's go add a new model in here. Call this bot index. That was fine. In this, we want to have a list of our bot child view model, right? Because you also want to have that ID in there. So we need to add in that model. And then this model bot create is fine. It does need to pass in this though. right? Because you do have this ID in here. This one. At html.hidden4 model, where this goes to my model.id. So you want to add in here a it's just going to be that ID, right? And then also a string here called a provider ID, right? Okay. Which means that over here on index where you're launching this thing here, this is going to be a new phs.mvc.areas.lechat. Hey experts, welcome to the channel. How are you doing today? Bot add model. And then you just want to add in your ID is equal to your model.id. Let's try that. What do you mean what happened with my window? What are you talking about? Good, thank you. How are you? I got a new mic. Don't know if it sounds any better out there. Find out when I listen to this thing after we're done today. This is passing in a generic of bot child, but it requires a bot index. Okay, and then you have to get the ID here, and the ID is your I think it's going to be your account ID. Let's try that. Wasn't there a window at your right side? When I debug, my solution goes over to the right. Here we go. Get bots. Got the account. Creates the new account. Checks to see if there is a bot. Let's try that. Bam. So it's not showing any provider though, is it? Oh no, we don't have any bots established yet for this account. So when you do this and you're getting your modal and you're kicking back, are you in fact posting to create bots? Bot add model has this ID and a provider ID. This needs to be an account ID. And this one let's see how that is. Hey, Wilson. Systemus. Hello, how are you doing today? Hidden here is my account ID, right? This is widget index on the bots, and you're hiding this, so this is going to be a because that's a bot child view model, so that's fine. So now that we're adding an account ID, that means that over here on my bots controller under index, oh no, you don't need this because you have the ID from the user. So down here, you could just remove this when you do this index. Okay, let's try it. Changing my playlist. Little Benny Benassi, wake me up. There we go. Okay, now we'll create one. We want to make a Twitch one. So it never hit my callback, did it? If I came back and looked at bots under index, actually gave me an error. Told me that this value is not a function at create bot Ajax. Provider ID, this is account ID. Oh, you have a misspelling. Easy. Okay, we got our callback here. if I look at the view model, I got account ID, but I did not get provider ID. I'm excited. I want to get this demo up before the end of the week. Come on. All right. Create one, a new Twitch one. Still not giving me a provider ID here. So we want to do a drop down C# ASP.NET view bag get selected. Because up here, I wonder if in here you can do provider ID. So could I do drop down list 4? Form. Let's try that. I bet you it needs to be the other way around, right? And this thing's going to be passed in as an enumerable of my type phs dot. This is a system.collections.generic.enumerable of my phs dot Hey, McKay Pim, are you out of here? Thanks for hanging out. Here. Thank you for that follow, buddy. Appreciate that. Also, all these videos are up on YouTube, so make sure you check those out if you're at all interested. See them from the beginning to where we currently are. This is a list of select list items, which comes from System Web MVC. So we should do this. So now you're casting this view bag item, seeing if this one works. What do you use for project management? I have a Jira that I host myself. And notepads. Because it's only me, so I mean, it could be, you know what I mean? What happened there? Okay, so now I'm getting the provider ID. I want to get my provider here. It says that this isn't working. So let's check out now at my controller on the web API. We should have something called providers, ID or name. Right here. Here we go. There are a bunch of other project management softwares out there, though. I'm trying to remember. There's one for coding games that's really simple and really straightforward. And I know a lot of people use Trello. Trello's not bad. What's inside of me? Here we go. Okay, let's create provider Twitch. It's going to route. I got my provider now this time. Yeah. Looks good. It should authorize me now. Did it not? So it is. And then it's supposed to redirect me. And it's not. Why isn't it redirecting me? Because you're not doing this with a... You're doing this with an AJAX call instead of a form. So that means that instead of this, you're going to... Oh, you're doing this function reload, that's why. Still not redirecting. Okay, so let's do it like this. When you do your create response here, the only thing you want to return here is the like that, right? Because you don't want to necessarily return that as a partial. You do want to return this as a string. So instead then, here, in your index, you want to get a provider here, right? So if I look here under providers, it's called get provider. No, it's not. Because this is going to post to the MVC. So here inside of my bot controller, we're going to change this to be a get. And this one's now going to be a get provider. It's going to be passing in a string here called an ID. let's get rid of this. I don't like any of this stuff. I want to go back over here to index. And I want to look here. I don't think we do this with Ajax because you don't even need this necessarily. The only thing that you want here is when you're doing this click, you want to do a redirect to action. Like that. So it's like location dot URL is equal to at URL HTML dot URL. Let me just see here real quick. ASP.NET MVC JavaScript redirect. Alrighty, see you later there, Piku. It's window.location.href. And this is an action. Let's try that. Which means that this doesn't even need a form in here, right? For the anti-forgery token either. Oops. It's like this. In your index, you did this just pretty close. This needs to be a var URL equals this. I have a feeling this still is not going to work the way I want, but we can sure try it. Yeah. So the reason why is that you have to do one of these redirects here, right? Authorize Twitch. You don't need window on that, right? And then you want to look at any other ones where you have a click, where you're navigating. It's like that. And this is called a auth Twitch, I believe. .val. Let's try it. Hey there, Horizal. I'm looking to give away $45 worth of web hosting to you and or your viewers. If you'd like to do it now or send you a business inquiry, I really don't mind. Sure. My email address here, let me put it in the channel for you. Never say no to free hosting. Thanks, man. Oops, this is a URL action, not an HTML action. So that almost worked. Oh, I think I have one too many of these things somewhere. Yeah, you do right here. This function doesn't even need to exist anymore. Okay, it worked. We create, it launches, and we redirect, we authorize, we come in, we're going to create our account here. Okay, I need to look at my bot here because it has an OAuth token. I just want to make sure I got everything. I do have an account that it's attached to. And there it is. And then if I go back, bam, there it is. So now we're successfully creating our bots. So I could probably create a different one here for another Twitch account. And I'll do it as a different one. Just a second while I type in this password. All right, here we are back. Let's go ahead and auth it. It was unhappy with me for some reason. There it is. Or did it just fail? Let's try one more time. Okay, so it's not registering that still. No Fortnite break? I gotta take a break here in just a minute. Play Fortnite after, for sure. I need to look at when I do my create account in this callback here. Let's just see what happens. We are getting a code. Let me check to see if I'm getting a token. I am. So it's going to add all these claims, including that one. It got the user. It got my user response. And you're saying that this bot is already registered. So it did register the bot, but I don't know where it went. So let me look at my SQL server. Because it's going definitely under the wrong ID here, account ID. Where is this account being drawn from? Up here, right? I got to do this on the other screen for a second here. When I look at my bots. It's deleting them. Just a second. It might be easier just to redo the database on this one, but it's really interesting because... Okay, they're gone. There they are. They're gone. So we'll register. Here it is. It's going to kick through. It's going to return everything I want. It didn't make it that far. Yes, it did. So it made it. There it is. If I was to create... Okay, so what it is in my index, is it only returning 1? Share your passwords. You know that sharing is caring. When you're loading your index here, let me create one more. Just a second, please. Let me put my two-factor token in. One more second. All right, we're back. That's me. We're going to go ahead and auth. Okay, now we're going to create this bot. The bot response code here is 200, so it worked. And then if we go back, I see both bots. So for whatever reason, that just wasn't working. So now if I come in here to streams, Spiral. What's Spiral about? Okay, this is our current stream. If I edit it, this thing wants something else called a stream. So let's go take a peek. A stream is the same thing as... You're going to have a number of routes, a name, a URL, and then you have this stream bot add model, which has an ID selected in these bots. This isn't true. Stream ID. And this is going to be called bot ID, right? So down here under my controller, when you're doing your edit and you're doing this get, you want to get this bot, and then you want to return a new bot. Sorry, you're in streams. It's just called stream is what you need to return. So routes is going to be equal to your response.stream.routes.of_type. No, it's just that. .toList. Because you need to add one of these, which is your bot ID, which is going to be a, you don't know what that one is yet, but you do know that your stream ID is going to be equal to ID. So actually you could get rid of this and do this in the view. So name. So actually that means that here in the widget edit, you can change this back to be this. So now this should just be able to return my response.stream. Like that. Because now down here in my index, when you're doing this model stream create, sorry, it's in your edit, widget edit, this is going to be a new phs.mvc.areas.alleychat.modals.stream_bot_add modal, sorry. And your bot ID, your stream ID is going to be equal to your modal.id. .toString. And here's your add bot. It's not, yeah, add bot, bots, streams. So this is going to call add bot. So let's make sure that up in streams we have something called add bot. Add bot is a post, right? No, this is wrong. This is a class. Stream bot, add. Because now back here under streams index, sorry, under edit, then you're going to do your stream bot add modal. Create stream bot here is going to do a create stream bot, which is here with a post, passing your access token and your stream ID and a bot ID. So back over here on the view, and this one here is going to be from my view bag dot bots, and this is coming in as the this. Wait. this. And then we want to hide my stream ID, right? Right there. We're just putting some tests in here. We're going to say that this is a test callback. And now this StreamBot add needs to be a new StreamBot add modal. And here you just want to pass in your stream ID is equal to your modal.id. .toString. And now let's see what happens when we run it. We have an error. That looks good. Let's give that a try. Okay. We look at streams. Here it is. We can take a peek. We can edit it. Okay, StreamBot add modal requires stream view model. StreamBot add model. Right here. Render partial widget edit. It says that it's looking for another key there and a line character. Okay, it says that it can't find bots because here in my controller for streams, I don't think I'm loading it. In your edit, and you need to pass in an ID here. So to do that, you do var user ID equals await client services dot get account async ID from my resource server API URL. If my user ID, I'm sorry, this is called a response account. Dot response code is equal to my integer of my HTTP status code dot OK. Then you want to keep going. So right here, response account ID account dot ID dot toString. We need to add one in here, a check to make sure for response codes bots. What's wrong? Oops. Why is this having such a hard time here? Crazy, okay? Now what you want to do is you want to do a var list of bots equals a new list of my select list item, right? Response bots dot bots dot for each. S where my list of bots dot add a new select list item which has a value which is my s dot and a text which is my s dot name. And then it's going to be viewBag.bots. Like that. Let's give that a try. Here we go. Edit it. It did not take me to the edit screen, did it? Whoops. Wrong ID. Here we go. Take a look here at streams. Let me do an edit. User account is account 200. We get the stream, we get the bots. I think we're good. It says that this thing doesn't like my IEnumerable select list items of bot ID. This. Derp, derp, derp. And there it is. So now when we click add bot, we got to get our modal to show up. So our modal here is called stream bot create request. Oh no. It's called, that's a close for the widget. So we don't want that. What we do want is edit, widget edit, stream bot add. Let's take a quick peek. Ah. Try it again. Bam. There's the, and we can choose now the bot we want. Test callback. It's gonna go ahead and create the bot, and it did not create it, but that's okay because we're almost there. So it's not passing in this, which is a stream ID and a bot ID. Stream bot name and stream bot description, those are wrong. You have something called bot ID and something called stream ID. But where's your Ajax at the end of this for creating that? Oh no, it's just redirecting you. That's why. So that means that back over here. I wonder if that's going to work at all. Stream ID will. Bot ID might not. Let's see. It did. We're looking for the stream. We got it. We're looking for the bot. We got it. We got 2 OK codes. We're going to get the ones which are a type of routed. We don't have anything in here, right? But now we do. Then you want to update it. And your response code is 200. Okay, and now if we look back at bots, we should see a count. And we don't. It's not counting. And if you look in here at your streams, oh, it's called routed, sorry. If you look at routes, if it'll let me. I think SQL's giving me some guff. So it didn't add it. No, nothing in routes. What about in routed? It didn't add one in routed either. So this did not create successfully. So here in the web API, if you look at stream where you're updating this, or you want to come back to streams, did I take it offline or something? There it is. Okay, here it is. I got a stream update request. That should have a bot in it, right? It has a description. It doesn't have a description, but it does have a name, it does have an ID, and it does have a URL. It does have a number of routes. So let me check out to see what happens here. First thing we want to do is we want to get this entity. And we have that. Then we want to update it. If we look at the entity again, it actually didn't create a route. So we got to do that manually. All right, guys, so I need a little bit of a break. I'm going to take 20 minutes. I'll come back. We'll probably do about another hour, and that'll probably be it for today. So if you guys are new or you don't know me, my name's Rob. I'm streaming out during the week, a little bit during the weekends as well. Normally we go from about 5:30 in the morning till about 8:30 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. We're going a little bit later today. If you have any questions, please pop them into the channel. Also, all these videos are up on YouTube, any of the legacy videos, and there is no music associated with them, so you can watch. We were making sure that update stream here is working okay. I wanted to check my stream update request and make sure that this thing is pretty small, because it's not sending that much, but it is sending name, description, URL, and in these route childs, it's all right. Okay. So here, when you're updating, this is where it wasn't working. Now what you want to do here is you needed to request dot stream dot this thing has something called a routes, and we want to do of type here called routed view model, right? And we want to get those as a list. So this is, we're going to say var routed. And then what you're going to do is a for each through that. And then what you want to do is you want to look at your entity, and you want to say that you're going to have a routes.add if my route dot, sorry, so if this ID is not currently in my so this is coming from the routes. So now, so for each one of these in the request, if my entity.routes.any, if there's not any where my s.routeID is equal to my route ID here, then what you want to do is this. Routed view model, base route. So if there's not any in there, then you want to add one. And you're in the service layer, right? So it's going to be bot is equal to your route.bot. It's going to be your channels, which is a list of route channels. It's going to be equal to your route.channels. And then you're going to have a row version, stays the same. You have a stream. And then you have a timestamp is the same, like that. We'll fix those in just a minute. Else, okay, and now you need to go the other way, which means you need to go from your for each var route in entity.routes if my request.routes stream.routes.any s where my s.id is equal to my route.id. So if that does not exist, then what you want to do is you want to remove it. Entity.routes.remove s where my and then it's going to be my entity.routes where my s is equal to my id is equal to my route dot. Nope, you're just going to remove this route. So this one you're going to map to your bot. This one we're going to route to channels route. Ugh, that's ugly. Like that, right? But channels is screwy here. So we're going to make a new list for this. Whoops. I guess this is a list of channel, right? Because what you're going to do is you're going to do your entity dot for each. I guess it's a channels. So route dot channels dot for each. What you want to do here is a s dot. Hey there, Nuffly. How are you doing today? Welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, please pop in the channel. Also, all the legacy videos are up on YouTube. We're only 10 follows away because I've only been on YouTube for a little bit from getting a custom URL. So if you could, give me a follow over there, and if you want to catch up with where we are. But any questions, anything, pop them in. And also, we have a really nice and active supportive community that we gained over the last 2 years since we started streaming at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Okay. This channel name is what we have in here, and an ID. But this is a list of channel. So what you want to see is if that's in there. We want to await my unit of work in here, right? This we want to do a get asynchronous by my channel name dot trim to lower. Then this is going to be equal to my trim channel name dot trim dot to lower. Hey there, John. How are you doing? Oh yeah, I don't have music playing at the moment. How are you doing? Congratulations, man. Congratulations. I saw that this morning. Boy or girl? Congratulations, man. Ugh. What does that mean? Tired of not working. Thanks, man. Haha. Have you not been working for a little bit? This thing here, you need to get this as a channel. Single or default, right? There it is. She was born on the 19th. No house hurricane moving, baby. Oh yeah. That's a whole lot of stuff. My work's been demanding, but I've been able to quickly. Good. That's cool. At least you were able to get something out quickly, you know. But damn. So now, if this channel doesn't exist, then you want to make a new one, right? So here you're going to do a channel equals await unit of work dot. I guess it's not like that. You're just going to do a unit of work dot channels. But you can't just make one channel because it has to be a type. Let's not worry about this at the moment. And this one is just a iCollection of route channel. Like that. And then that's going to update it and save it. Let's see what happens. Hey John, have you picked up Fortnite yet? Waiting for it to load right now. No, I haven't, no time. So I think I got a solution for what I'm working with, John, for the thing I was asking you about. I found the JS in here and I deminified it, and I'm pretty sure I can just call the function again after I reload a partial. That'll update everything. Okay, here's my MVC. So we look at streams. We're going to check this one and we'll add it. We want to add a bot to it. We'll do Ali chat. We click close. It's going to redirect me to create stream bot. It's going to grab these two. It's going to get this. It's going to check to see if it can create it. And if it can, you're going to update the stream. Because my request, it has a route in it. This says that it's looking for one of a type routed view model. So that's the issue. If you look at this, where my s dot route type is equal to my route type dot routed. So this route is being declared and routed, which comes from my request. So if you look at this, you're going to need to make a change in here. You want this request to have this stuff in it, right? Not this. Oops, 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 oops. We just want to cancel that. And then we want this to be a, this. We don't want it to have a stream. We want it to be like that. It's going to have an ID on it. Because if you look at this one, well, because you could send that individual type across. Hold on. So let's go back, change this back to what it was. You have to explain to me again in a second. You've been on since 6 a.m.? Yes, I have. It's not that long. It's only 9. It's only 3 hours. So this is wrong. This needs to be a bot, and then this routed here. So let's take a look when we get here again. Let's see if we can do this. And we want to cast this thing as a let's check that. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you click the follow. Also, all these videos are up on YouTube from the first one to where we are now. So make sure you check those out. Here's the link, just in case you're curious. We're only 10 follows away from a custom URL, so help me out if you could. Waiting for it to load here. Okay. Here's the stream. I'm going to add this. Try to add a bot. Okay, it's going to check it. Route is 1. It doesn't exist. We're going to try to cast this, and it's a null. I got to pull this over while I look at this so I don't show OAuth token. Let me look at real quick. I want to look at my request. All right, so that's not going to work. So let's go back over here. Let's just do this right. If we come down here to my modules and I look here at my first place we start is at the context. And you can see I have routed and routes and routing. And then here in the unit of work, X prospect. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate that. If you have any questions, please pop them into the channel. Make sure you check us out at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. And now here you have routing, you have routed, and you have base route. That's fine. And now if you look back at your data access layer, let's go ahead and do get routed async. We got that. We have one already called create routed. Well, that looks great. So why aren't we using this? Here in the web API, we have something called routes. Here's something called create routed. Hey there, Elvish Angel. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate that. Again, if you have any questions, channel's a great place. Also Discord. And all the videos are up on YouTube from the first one to where we currently are. So here at create routed, I need to look now at the, so the web API already has this. So that means that over on my modules for my client services, I need to double check to make sure that I have a create routed. I do not. So let's do it with this one. We'll just do this fun little thing where we can go provider, and we're going to change this to be routed. And then also we want to do provider and provider. Routed. Okay, get routeds. That looks right. Get routed. That's just an ID. Get routed async here. We're saying that's by a name. That's not true. Create routed. That's going to pass in a routed create request to my routed create. Update is a good, and then delete, which is just called route delete, because it'll cascade delete that. Easy enough. So now we can copy this and we can move it up here to the services, and we can dump it QRS. Why is this in the wrong spot? So let's see, somebody was saying that I could just do okay, and then we'll get rid of this crap. So now, when I'm actually running this thing here in my MVC, we can go back to this area, which is my streams, and it was under edit. And here we have this create stream bot, which is going to do a post out to my controller, and it's going to pass this stream ID and this bot ID. So let's go take a quick peek now at the controller. Create bot is this bot add model. So instead of all this, you could just do something like a client services dot create routed. And you can pass in this new routed view model. And then this resource. So this is a response routed. And the bot is and then our channels are nothing, right? So you should change this to be a create routed. And you can do that here. Channels here. Because you're creating it, you don't have any. Your route type is routed. And then your stream is this is the stream view model. So you should probably just add in an auto mapper in here. Why don't we do that? So in NuGet, we'll come over and we'll go to auto mapper and we'll add it. So if you look back here in your I really think it's easier if we just don't use AutoMapper for this one, because I'll have to register a lifetime member and then put it in the container and then register all the maps to it right there. Let me just take a quick peek at the app start under Bootstrapper here. Container dot register type, and it's going to go from an IMapper to a mapper. So that means that back over here now I could just pass in an IMapper. No, you want to come to the base controller and you want to add in here a mapper. And then down here you want to have a protected abstract void initialize auto mapper. And so that means that now here you have to have something called protected override initialize automapper. And now all this one's going to have is a mapper equals a new mapper configuration. It's going to go S, which goes to my, I guess we should do a C so we're consistent. And then create mapper. So now I should be able to do c.createMap. And I'm going to go from a stream view model to a stream child view model. So here now you can do a mapper.map stream child view. And we want to pass in the response stream dot stream. So now if my response routed dot response code is equal to my integer of my HTTP status code dot OK. Then you don't need to update anything. I think that's it. Much easier now. Give it a test. Okay, we need to implement these in a couple of other places. And then we'll just add this in here. And then we're going to copy this. Now we're good to go. Then we're going to give this a run. Base controller contains a call chain that results in a virtual call defined by its class. Let's go ahead and run it. Hey there, Moobot. It's been a little bit. How are you doing today? It's good to see you. I got a new mic, so hopefully the typing's a little quieter. I know you can still hear that. I got to get a couple of things to help filter it out, but I believe if I turn on the air conditioner, because I don't need it today, we won't even hardly hear it. Okay, I got a little bit of an issue here. I got to fix something. Just a moment. It's an easy fix. Sometimes this happens and I don't know why. But luckily I know how to fix it. Well, fine, now everything's going. It's going great. Web API is up and running. I'm making sure my front end, I'm doing the final things on the front end right now, and then I got to do the design stage of it. And then also we have we had SignalR Expo. I don't know if you were here on the weekend, but we got SignalR hooked up. So we actually have a chat application app that we wrote for the channel. So we also have for the web app. So we still need to create the routing though. Check that. Edit it. Add this. Here it is. It's going to create a routed. There it is. Does not appear that it created this routed asynchronous. Ali chat routed, which is here in my it's in the web API. You have something called routed routes. Oh, is it just routes? No. Yeah, create routed should be in Ali chat / routed here. Routed view model to a routed view model. This is why. These are routed view model. And I think we have this. Because you want to be able to go from a view model to this created request. Try it again. Oh, okay. I was busy this weekend. Didn't get a chance to watch. Yeah, no problem. It happens. It's just exciting. Projects coming along. Here are the three. Do you know about the profile feature? No, I don't know what you're talking about with that. Okay, let's go ahead and check this. We're going to add in this bot. Well, that worked. There it goes. I got a bot, and some channel IDs. Then we're going to try to hit it, and it hit over here. It created it. So that's successful. So now if we look at this when this loads, oh, you don't want that one, you want details, sorry. What's the profile feature of AutoMapper? Okay, here we go. We're going to look at the stream. When I look at this now, we do have one route. And I don't want to show the route here because I don't want to give up any sensitive information with the OAuth token. That could potentially be right there. It says that it's routing and not routed. That's totally a mistake. But it does have the stream, and it does have the ID. And it has channels. But that's enough that we are able to pull a routed now. So that is working. I'm happy with that. When I look back here at index, sorry, when I look here at, this one's fine, item and name, you also want to have something called a description, right? And then you want to check here in the index to make sure that you have this. Okay, let's check that. You can create a class which inherits from profile. It's an automapper based class. By using that approach, you can define the mappings in one or even different classes. This makes it possible to write unit tests for the mappings in an easy manner. The whole mapping setup can be injected via dependency injection. No, I haven't seen that yet. Not with the profile. I do something similar, but mostly I just create it per like service layer. But I only have automapper on my data access. No, I guess I have it in a couple of places now. I have automapper on my web API when it has my data access layer, services layer, and then I have it on my client services library so that I can take view models and turn them into creates and updates. Creates and updates. Okay. We should change this to be like 30 and 70. It would look better. Hey there, HalfFid49. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate that. If you have any questions, please put them into the channel. We have a really active and supportive community. Appreciate your support. So here under details, we need to add in another one here called description. And then we need another one for, in my edit, called editor for description. Like that. Hey there, Jefferson Ciotti. How are you doing? Welcome back. Okay. So all that's working. So now what we want to do is we want to actually show those bots. So here under my details, so now you want to do a for each, and it's going to be in my model dot routes. And you'll just do the same thing. Because it's just going to be a child, right? And then it doesn't necessarily have anything on it. So it's just like that. Because you're actually not getting the correct ones here. Hold on. Oops, it's supposed to be in. Interesting, when you were in edit and you clicked back, it took you to index. So let me change that. Try that. Okay, your details on this thing is wrong. But if you compared this back down here to bots, you don't have that. So it's advising me to get rid of this, because that's already present here. It is. Details. Okay. Edit. Okay. And then delete. That's fine. And this one. So anybody that wants to use this bot will need IIS? No. This is a web application. So you'll just go to allychat.com, www.allychat, I believe is what it is. And then it's a web hosted application. So you can come in here. Let me show you. If you wanted to use this bot, for example, where did it load? Let me try running it one more time. Yeah, here, let me show you how it works. So if you want to get rid of PHS here. And then we need to re-add it real quick. Second. Okay, that should be done. Whoops. This is on my domain. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's nice, migrations. Are you familiar with Entity Framework? This is a code first for Entity Framework. Okay. Look at my names. Let's run it. Kinda. If you do too many changes at one time, it can be a headache. Or if you're doing code first and you make a change to the data, to the structure, and you just push it to production, it can really jack things up. So now when you look at this app, because we have a web API running and an identity server. So if you come to the app, okay, let me make sure that I got rid of my tokens here. All right, so here we are. This is our login page. When you log in, it allows you to use an external login or to create or to use your own local. So we could use one for Twitch. Okay, this is already authorizing me. And so all that wanted was my identity. I do need to force it to verify. So we will change that. But I do have that over here in bots. So now if you look, I have a couple of different functions in here. I have something called chats or streams, and I currently don't have anything. And I have something in here called bots, and I don't currently have anything. So we could go ahead and create a bot here. Current provider I have is Twitch. And then it's going to ask me to authorize with this account. And now it's going to say that I'm going to be able to log in and send chat messages from this account. And so there it is. It's been created. So you can see I have one bot. Now, one of the benefits of this is that you can actually have bots for different accounts. So I'll be able to come in here and let me just, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So now you can see Ali Chat, we can authorize it. And now Ali Chat is in here too. So now I have control over both of these within my Windows service to be able to manage and route messages appropriately. Just for Twitch right now, but we have it set up with Discord. We're ready to go for Discord and Live EDU in this project. So now that you look at streams, we can create a new stream here. Oops. Okay, my create stream is broken. Let's fix that. Sorry. I know that sucks for a demo, but I have it broken. Just a second. It's called Modal Stream Create. Let's see where it's failing. It's not calling anything. So you have create streams here is this post stream add. It's going to show this modal. So it's called a stream create. Should have this thing called a stream create modal.close. Stream create modal dot show. So mostly the bot will manage the chat, not fancy things like overlays. So it's backend as a service. So what it is that you're able to set up either a WebSocket or a TCP socket stream, and you can have different events coming from either different chats, different RSS sources, or even your own applications. And so ideally as a developer, instead of having to go out there and figure out all these different systems, you'll just have one place that you can go route things, download a client library, and off you can go. So for example, in Discord, if I wanted to have an event that fired every time that somebody in 3 voice channels were talking, whether it's anybody, and then I wanted to send at real time just a message that said talking and another one that said not talking, you could just come in here and select your Discord channels and say that this one, guys, take off messages and add in these events. Okay, so this thing is not, let me see. So it's reloading, it's not firing here. Stream add, stream create modal, stream create modal, stream create modal. That's the one to close it. And then here, where's your stream add? Widget index. There it is. Yeah, I'm building it for my own use, and then I figured why not just make it for everyone. There you go. Now it's working correctly. So now, to continue, I can create a stream here, and we could say like Discord events or whatever. Okay, and now if I select this, I'm able to, I get a URL specific for it. I'm able to come in here and I can add a bot to it. So I'm going to say I'm going to add Ali Chat. And this is as far as I've gotten with the UI. I just need to make sure that it's adding. Looks good. Did this fail? Routed to routed view model. Here in my edit. Well, did it not reload the page? No, it is. So if I look here in bots controller, at streams controller, and I look at my index, and your details here, So this is details and streams. I don't even see where this is hitting this. I don't see how it's at all possible able to load this thing. Is it just using a cache or something? Let's try rerunning it, because that's a really strange thing that's happening. I think redirecting to a number doesn't work really. It's when you're redirecting from Ajax. I have to wait till I call back to JavaScript and then do location dot and then set it to a redirect URL. Did it not launch everything? Is that what's going on? It's only launching my web API. It's not launching my multiple projects any longer. I must have changed my startup projects. Here we go. I wonder how long it's been like that. Let's check this real quick. By the way, guys, all these videos are up on YouTube from the very first one to where we are currently. Let me post a link, and if you could, we need 10 more follows over there before we can get a custom URL. Thanks so much, guys. So now if we look at streams here, there it is. And I do have one route that has one routing and 0 channels attached to it, and one stream. So now let's look at details. For each item in this, you want to display a name, and then you want to do a display for. Yeah, I know, I gotta change that. August server cost, I know it's old. Routing type, routing, so it is working. So here we want to do like a break, or is it HR or something like that. I wonder if that's going to do something funny. No, that's fine. Okay. And now what you need to do is you need to pull if this thing is in fact. So here inside of details, when you're loading details, you want to now what you want to do is you need to, for each var item in response dot stream dot routes, switch on my item dot route type. And so now if it is routed, then what you want to do is you want to get a var response routed equals your await your client services dot get routed async, and it's going to be your ID is your item.id, and then this is your resource. Okay, and so now if my response.routed.response code is equal to integer of my HTTP status code, then what you want to do is your so we need to make a copy of this, right? You want to do this, you want to do this, and then you want to do a response.stream.routes.clear. And this one you want to add a new route child view model. Wait. Response.stream.routes.add response routed. As a route child view model, because this is a routed response. So this is a, you're going to just add that, right? So this says cannot convert routed view model to routed child view model, so you'll just map it. Quick question, I'm curious, why jQuery not Angular, another JavaScript framework wrapper? I'm just keeping it simple for this one. I use jQuery a lot. I don't actually know Angular, and I've been looking at Vue.js though for maybe the next project or so. But it's a detriment that I don't know Angular. So this we want to do a route. And this we want to map. And it's going to be a routed child view model. Let's try it. Now that's making a bunch of calls to the database, so it might be easier just to do that by not passing over the child. We could just pass over the main object. Interesting. Let me try that again. So that cleared it. That wasn't exactly what we wanted. This is a list of collection of route child view models. So you could just do a new list of route child view model, right? And then just pass that in. Interesting. Okay, here's the MVC. We can come over to streams. And you look at Discord events. Now it's passing the wrong type, right? So when you're getting this here, when you look in the database under routed, Moobot says ASP.NET gives you all you need when we're talking about MVC. I think you can mix it so ASP.NET and Angular, but then you just use the API of ASP.NET and Angular as front end only. Yep, that is the way, and you can do that with React too. And there's actually templates up for ASP.NET, at least 4, that'll let you do that. So here's your routed. It did create it, but it's not creating its type. So when you're getting your stream in your web API, it's here. You're doing something here called create routed async. So you need to look at this entity here because you need to have in base route something that says public integer route type. And then you need to have another one in here called route type value. And you want these to be and this one you're calling routed. And this one is a string. And then you want to do that same thing up here at routing, at when you create routing. Like that. Okay, let's go ahead and update that database. We're going to go ahead and delete it. And then you can go down here. If you select your, oh, that's how it stops launching main projects, is you have to, when you do your database, and you select that as your main, and then you want to come into your domain, and you want to update that. So you need to delete all of those migrations because we don't want these anymore. Now we're going to update that. Yeah, that's how you have to do that. Okay, we're good. Whoops. I'm only going to run that one project. and we'll run it. Rob, I started my web project a few days ago and I'm already at the same pain with authentication and authorization. I try to keep it as simple, but after a few hours, I started away and looking at Identity Server 4. I looked at Identity Server 4 as well. That one's done in Core. I'm more familiar with MVC 4, so I did it that way. Definitely the pains that I ran into were hooking it into Entity Framework, and then also getting it so that I could seed the database. So like hooking it to Entity Framework, seeding the database, and then hooking it to ASP.NET Identity. I think I have a video up with that, but it was it was during, I think, this 9-hour stream that I did, and YouTube won't let me edit that, so I have to edit it manually and upload it. Okay. Let's take a look here at streams. Oh, wait, I deleted everything, so we need to log out. Log back in. Let's go ahead and add a bot. Hey there, Demonizer27. How are you doing today, man? Thank you for that follow. I appreciate that. If you have any questions or anything, please put them into the channel. Got a really active and supportive community. Happy to have you as a part. Thank you, man. Gotta love when everything works. Okay, and then we can come up to streams and we can say, did it freeze? Or does that button just no longer work? Oh, so in index, streams add, stream add. Easy enough. So let's go ahead and add that. There it is. My stream name will be Discord Events. It creates the stream. We're going to look at it. I can edit it. I'm going to add a bot to it. It's going to kick through and it's going to create that routed record. Well, I mean, it's working now, but in my bot child view model to bot child view model, that goes here in my like this. ASP.NET Core had a major update to 2.0 and they didn't manage to update the documentation correctly, so pretty much pain when you can't even rely on the Microsoft documentation. Yeah, that's the benefit of the .NET platform, to be honest, is that you have the backing of Microsoft, so that's really a bummer. I gotta figure out why after my create it's not redirecting me as well. I think we're gonna put these in a data table for each one of these things. And then we can do Ajax updates on them so that we're lining up to do everything in a single page. Oops, 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 oops. routed. So if you look back here at details, like that. And so now if in fact it's routed, then what we want to do is I think we want to show this for the bot. phs.lachat.lib.viewModals. Let's try that. Like that. Bam, and there it is. And now we can see that in fact that we are pulling in the unique model here, which is nice. What are you talking about? Let's try it again. So that one's not even in the right place now, because this needs to have a class. Like that. So now what we can do is that because we have a username here, below this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have another one of these partial grids where, I'm sorry, not a partial grid, we're going to load a data table in here. So that way we can see each one of our individual channels that we've made, and then we can add another button in here to add a channel onto this route. So I guess maybe we do need another one for routes over here, or at least one where you could click on that routes. But unfortunately, I am out of time for today. So thanks guys for hanging out with me. If you haven't, please click that follow. Also, make sure you check us out at YouTube, because all of these videos from the very first one up to where we are at now are available, and then there are no music on them. So we don't have a custom URL yet. We're almost there. I think we're like 10 follows away. So let me get your guys' support, if at all possible. I'm also a part of Indie Dev here on twitch.tv, so make sure you check them out. There's a lot of great content. And then, I don't know if I said it already, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Here's the link to the YouTube. And let me see here, one second. Is there any other stuff? I think that that's it, guys. Until tomorrow, have a good morning, evening.